Hey lovelies, it's your girl here, Joanne. Today I'll be showing you how to cut this beautiful dress you're seeing on your screen. And trust me, it's going to be a very interesting tutorial. So if you want to see how I cut this from start to finish, watch this video to the end. Don't forget to like and share this video and also subscribe to this channel. So without wasting much of your time, let's get into the tutorial. Welcome back. This is a fabric I'm going to be using for this tutorial, and this is a vintage material, and I'm also going to be lining this up. Okay, this is about 3 yards of fabric. So for the lining, it's a bit stretchy. It doesn't matter because the vintage is a bit stretchy also, so I'm going to be combining this together. So let's get to the cutting table. So here, what I'm doing right now is I'm indicating the starting line. So whatever measurement I'm going to be taking, I'm going to be starting from this line. That will serve as my shoulder line. If you've been watching my videos, you will know that I normally do this a lot. So I'm going to be starting from this line to take my basic body measurements. Starting from the shoulder, I'm going to be coming down to 10 inches, which happens to be my bust line. So from there, I'm going to be marking my waistline, which happens to be 16 inches. Okay, so from 16 inches, I'm going to be marking my hip line. So that will be 8.5 inches. Okay, so from there, I'm going to come down by 0.5 inch. That will serve as my joining allowance. You know, we are going to be joining a gathered skirt to this upper part of the bodies of the dress. Okay, so next I'm going to be connecting these lines like so, and this is my vertical lines. Okay, vertical measurement, right from shoulder to the bust line, from the bust line to the waist, and from the waist to the hip line.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings.
Okay, so guys, what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to be labeling each of this line. So from the top line, there is the shoulder line, okay, and this is the bust line, the waistline, and the hip line. All right. So guys, what we have been marking here since is the back pattern, right? Not the front pattern. This is the back panel. Please don't get confused. So on this line, I'm going to be now taking my shoulder measurement. My shoulder is 16 divided by 2 will be 8 inches. So I'm going to be imputing 8 inches on that point, and from there I'm going to be coming down by 1 inch. That will serve as my shoulder slope because our shoulder is not entirely straight. So next I'm going to be marking my neck width, which is 3 inches. I'm now going to be connecting from my shoulder slope all the way to my neck width, like so. So on my bust line, I'm going to be coming up by 2 inches. This will now serve as my chest line, all right? I'm now going to draw the line across. So after that, I'm going to label this as the chest line, and this is the bust line. So on the chest line, I'm now going to mark my shoulder measurement. So half of my shoulder measurement is 8 inches. Like what I did on the top part, I'm going to repeat that process here. So 8 inches, I'm now going to rule that line to meet to the shoulder slope, like so. So next is I'm going to be determining the midpoint of my armhole. Okay, so I'm going to be measuring this. Whatever I have, I'm going to divide it by 2. And guys, I'm not supposed to mark this 0.75 on a norm, but because it is this dress pattern, there's a way this armhole is, so I'm going to be doing this for the back bodies. All right, so if you've been watching my videos, you see that I don't do this. It is because of the way the nature of the sleeve is. All right, so I have to do this. But if you don't want to do this, just you can avoid this part. But since I am recreating something like this, it has to come out exactly like this. I hope you understand what I mean. So on the bust line, I'm now going to mark my bust measurement. Earlier on, I marked my bust measurement on the chest line, and that was how I got my armhole. Okay, so I'm repeating what I marked on my chest line, which happens to be my bust measurement, divided by 4. And on the waistline, I'm going to be marking my waist measurement, divided by 4. Okay, and I'm going to impute it on the waistline, like so. So I'm going to be connecting it using my cuff rule to meet to my waistline. Okay, so next I'm going to be marking my hip measurements. So on this hip part, I'm going to be dividing my hip by 4, okay, and I'm going to make a point. All right, on the hip line, I'll mark my hip divided by 4 and make a point, because from that point, I'm going to come in by 0.75. Okay, so we are not going to be marking where exactly on the hip measurement. So we came in by 0.75, and I'm going to be connecting from where I came in by 0.75 to meet to my waistline, like so. I hope you understand. So next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to be indicating, okay, normally I'm supposed to be adding zipper allowance, but I'm not going to be adding zipper allowance to this pattern. I'm rather going to be adding it when I'm cutting my fabric. But if you want to save yourself the stress, go ahead and add your zipper allowance at once. So I'm indicating that I'm supposed to be adding my zipper allowance to that part. So on the neckline, I came down by 1 inch, and I'm going to connect it back to my neck depth, neck width, sorry. Okay, so I'm just going to smoothen that part, okay, because it wasn't really looking curvy the way I wanted. So at this point, guys, as you can see, I'm labeling this the back part. This is the back part. I'm labeling that as the back, okay, because I'm going to be cutting this part from the waist to the hip out. So that's why I labeled that, okay, in order not for me to get confused when I'm cutting on my fabric.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the can.
So at this point, I'm going to be cutting the waist part out, okay? When we get to that part, I'll explain better for you to understand better, okay? So I'm cutting the waist part out right now. So this is how it is. When I'm cutting on my my fabric, I'm going to be adding the necessary allowance. So this is the front block, okay? So what I just did is that is this pattern is on fold because it's the front block, and remember how the style is, it's a wrap, okay? So I'm now going to overlap, it's an overlap. I'm now going to mark 4 inches. All right, from the folded part I'm going to be marking 4 inches, in which I've already done that. And after that, I'm going to be folding this like as you've seen me done, like I folded this in, okay, I tucked in it in, okay. So all my measurements I am going to be taking will be from these folded parts. I hope you understand what I mean. The reason why I folded it is because I don't want to confuse you guys. So just like you're measuring your normal bodies without seeing the fold, without seeing the extra pattern attached to it, like so. So I'm taking the necessary body measurement right now, and I'm taking my from my shoulder down to my half length, which happens to be 16 inches, and I came down by 0.5 inches. This is what we'll be using to attach to the skirt parts. I'm going to cut this out right now, okay. So next thing I'll be doing is from my shoulder measurement, I'm going to impute my on my shoulder measure. I'm going to be imputing my neck width, okay, which is 3 inches, and my shoulder measurement, which is 8 inches. Then I came down by 1 inch, okay. That will serve as my shoulder slope, exactly what we did on the back panel. All right, so I'm now going to be connecting it from my shoulder slope down back to my neck width. So I'm now going to mark, okay, on the shoulder line, not the slopey line. On the shoulder line, I'm going to be marking my bust line, which is 10 inches. I'm going to rule that line across. Then from the bust line, I'm going to come up by 2 inches. Okay, this will now serve as my chest line. And I'm also going to rule this line across. So next, I'm going to be measuring my shoulder on this chest line. My shoulder divided by 2, I imputed that, and I'm going to connect it back to my shoulder slope. After that, I'm going to now come down and from my shoulder slope and measure my entire armhole, which is 7. I imputed a midpoint, which is 3.5. Okay, so I'm now going to mark my bust line, which is my bust divided by 4. Whatever I had, I imputed that without adding any allowance. So from there, I'm going to be connecting the 3 points together. So after that, I'm now going to come to the bust line and extend that line from my chest line, okay, down to my bust line. So next, I'm going to take my waist measurements, my waist divided by 4, whatever I have, I'm going to be imputing that, okay. So next thing I'm going to be doing is to connect it using my rule to connect it all the way to me to my bust line. So at this point now, guys, we are done with this. So I'm going to be cutting this out without cutting the neckline, and the way I tucked the other part inside, the extra inches inside, I'm going to be cutting this out, okay?
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire.
So this is how it is. I'm going to open this up for you guys to see, but I'm still going to tuck it in again because I'm going to be taking my neck depth measurement. So from my shoulder measurement, I'm going to be coming down, okay, not the shoulder slope, okay. Check from the neckline, right? I'm going to be coming down by 8 inches. That will be my neck depth. You can do yours 9 or 10. It depends on how revealing you want, and you can do it as also you can do 5 or 6 inches, okay. So this is how I want my neck depth to be. I'm now going to connect it back to my neck width. So after that, I'm going to be cutting this out, all right. Okay, so guys, this is how it is. Let me open it up for you to see. So this is how it is. I'm not done with the neck measurements. So on the waistline, I'm going to come up by 2 inches, okay. So where I have the extra 4 inches allowance on the waist, I'm going to come up by 2 inches. So from these 2 inches, I'm going to be connecting it back to my neck like so. Okay, so guys, if you do this, be sure that you're going to have a very beautiful overlap dress. All right, I love using this method, okay. Whenever I'm cutting my overlap dress, I love using this method. So if you're following this method, trust me, you're going to get it well. So I'm going to now open up this part that I did not cut out, okay. Now I'm going to overlap this for you guys to see how it is. This is the reason why I cut this one on fold, okay, so I could show you guys how it is. And guys, here is how it is. It is looking very beautiful already, okay. Imagine after sewing this, after making this, how it will turn out. So I'm going to be showing you how I cut it out on my fabric, and this is how it is. All right, so these are the necessary allowances I added. All right, so on the neckline, I added half 0.5 inch, then the sides I added 1 inch, the shoulder I added 0.5 inch. On the down, I did not add any allowance, okay. Remember when we were cutting, we added extra allowance to that. Then this is the second part, okay, what I'm going to be using to attach to this half length. All right, so this is it, and I cut it on fold. Like as you've seen, I added my lining, then on the side I added 1 inch, the top part I added a half inch allowance. So for the back bodies, I added my zipper allowance, which is 1 inch. Then the side, I added 1 inch. Shoulder, I added 0.5 inch. Then for the down part of the back bodies, okay, what I cut out initially, I added 1 inch on the sides and 1 inch for the zipper allowance. Then for the top part, I added 0.5 inch. So guys, this is it. If you want to see how I'm going to be putting these pieces together, then check out for my new video when I'm going to be posting it. Okay, I'm going to be posting this soon. Thank you for sticking around with me. See you guys in my next one.